Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude. Oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said California is the place you ought to be, so they
Welcome to another session of neighborhood training. This week we're going to focus on the Ballymeade neighborhood of North Falmouth, or East Falmouth, or Hatchville. Technically, it is in Hatchville, which is part of East Falmouth, although I hear a lot of the people out here like to say it's in North Falmouth. It is in the North Falmouth School District. However, in the Postal District, it's in East Falmouth. As you see here in this map, we are bounded on the western side by the double-barreled Route 28, and on the northern side by Route 151. I know you're all familiar with it, and on the southern portion of the tract of land by Thomas Landers Road. The features that we see right here in the beginning, obviously, the two golf courses that we'll talk about later. The first one you come into on your right hand side or on the western side is the Ballymeade course, which is a public course, and then on the left hand side as you come in Falmouth Woods Road. On the eastern side is the new golf club at Cape Cod, significantly larger course and also significantly larger in price tag. It's a private course, just recently developed. This Google map doesn't show it being done, but I drove up there last week and it is open, and there were people playing on it. Whether it's totally open or not, I don't know, but it's got grass and it's functional. So there we see, and we see the expanse that it covers. This tract of land here is 1,000 acres. So you can imagine is one of the last large tracts of Falmouth to be developed. And as you know, they're pretty pricey houses, but there's also a lot of folks that live up there, and a lot of folks that visit the golf course there. And as we'll see in here, the other features are a significantly larger square footage of the buildings than we have in many other neighborhoods of Falmouth. So we will I'll just go in briefly, just close in a little bit here to see what we're talking about. And there we go. Simply, as we just roll in here on the Google map, we'll see that we have on this side the Ballymeade course has the clubhouse, the tennis courts, maintenance shed up here, and the golf course. And we'll talk about as well is this area here is Fairway Point. We'll see that these are a lot of these are duplex dwellings here. And that's the only other feature besides the commercial clubhouse sections that are on this golf course and also on the golf club at Cape Cod, is that these houses here in Fairway Point are duplexes, and the rest of them all single-family dwellings. While we're right here and we're kind of talking about this little section here, I do want to point out one fact that very minor, but also this section here along the highway, right in here, you'll see a little path right here. It runs all the way up. That is supposed to be a wildlife corridor. I don't know how much wildlife actually go up it, but I can tell you that there is a hiking path that runs from, starts in Long Pond and runs up through and then comes out at Thomas Landers Road at the highway and then runs all the way up here to 151. So there'll be, at times there'll be mountain bikers up there. There'll also maybe some joggers and walkers, so just don't be surprised. Sometimes you might get a call for someone injured on a path beside the highway or beside Ballymeade, and that exists. And the same thing is true on the other side of 151. I'm sure you're all aware that this section, all up in here on the north side of 151, is all mountain biking trails, and a lot of folks go running up there as well. This whole section here is all that glacial moraine, so it's very hilly and very rocky, so it's very conducive to mountain biking, but it's also conducive to somebody having a bike crash out there as well. All right, so we'll get back into just going over Ballymeade. We'll focus on some of the maps. I'm sure that you're probably already aware, but Falmouth Woods Road is the main road coming into the development from 151, and as you come up here just by the clubhouse is the gate, and the combination, as everyone I hope would know, is 2323. You'll need that combination to get into this gate, and also the gate in off of the Hill and Plain Road off of Sam Turner Road, which is right in the section here. So you will need that 2323 to get in here as well. So we have Falmouth Woods Road that comes up as the main entry road. Hill and Plain is the main road off of Sam Turner. It runs up and around here is Hill and Plain, and oh, there we go. All right. So we are, here we are looped around. Here's Highwood. Runs around Longshank Circle, Fairway Point. We have all kinds of golf course names over here to the right. I guess we get Green Tree Circle and Wellwood Circle up here. We'll list the names in a while. I just wanted to show the Falmouth Woods Road, the main road coming in, and then we connect to the other western loop road, which is Carn Ridge Road. So that's the other one, and you run up in Hill and Plain. I guess we can also, we could cut through here too. I guess it just really shortens it up to get through. But we'll go over the roads here in a minute. But just remember the Falmouth Woods Road, Hill and Plain, Carn Ridge, the loops around, and in the gate up at Falmouth Woods, and Hill and Plain in the back. Okay. I don't spend too much time with that. We'll just give a quick overview. That Section 3, Still District. On the here we go. This is what I point out on the Ballymeade neighborhood. Basically, as we'll see, it's a 1,000 acre development. Built approximately 15 years ago. The development was started, and then it went under, and then it actually picked back up again. So two major 18-hole golf courses. As I mentioned, the Ballymeade and the Golf Club at Cape Cod. There are over 270 dwelling units in there, which equates to probably over 500 residents. A lot of these folks are probably summertime as well, but probably a large portion of them are also year-round folks. This is going to be a significant factor in fighting the fires out there at Ballymeade. We have buildings significantly larger than just about anywhere else in town. We were talking before that a ranch, a small ranch is 800 square feet. A cape, probably 1,500 square feet. You might have a little bit larger, house around that might actually get up to 2,000, 2,500 square foot. But there is at least one house that's 10,000 square feet. And there's another house neighboring it that's 9,000 square feet. So that will change significantly our ability to fight a large fire there. It'll also consume a lot of manpower, a lot of resources. These buildings are not sprinkled, even though they're over the 7,500 square foot threshold we have in town. They do not need to be sprinkled. The 7,500 square foot threshold applies to commercial dwellings only. I mentioned it's a gated community, and I mention that significantly because there will be a delay in our response. When we go up there, we obviously are going to have to come to a complete stop, and we're going to have to punch in the code and then take off again. And if any of you have gone up there with the engines, you actually have to get out of the cab, go to the keypad, punch it in, get through the gate, get back in the truck, and go up. So are we talking a delay of a minute? Well, by the time you slow down, you punch in the code, and you start up again, probably you're right. And the same thing with the ambulance. It's tough to get done. So we'll run quickly over this. The Ballymeade Golf Course is on the west side. 35,000 square foot, 3-story clubhouse. It is sprinkled. And many of you have been up there. It's pretty significant. Also, the tennis building, the indoor tennis, they have outdoor tennis, and there's also the maintenance building for the golf carts and all the other equipment. On the eastern side of the entrance is the golf course at Cape Cod, newly constructed, 3-story, 25,000 square foot commercial clubhouse, and also the maintenance building as well. Mentioned before, the gate combination is 2323. Remember that. The road network, as I was mentioned before, Falmouth Woods Road is the main entrance. Hill and Plain is the main road coming in off of Sam Turner. Cairn Ridge is the other loop road. The way I tried to divide this development up so I could understand it was to divide it into east and west. I suppose you could divide it north and south, but I did east and west. And it seemed to work a little better for me. It'll make a little bit more sense. As we'll see, we'll go over some of the maps you look through. We got on the western side, or the right-hand side as you come in Falmouth Woods Road. If you're working on the right-hand side, will be Fairway Point Road. Will be the first one you come up to. That's the one I mentioned that has a lot of the duplexes on there. Cairn Ridge Road is the big loop road around. And we have Equestrian Lane, Longshane Circle, Summit Lane, Highwood Lane, and Martingale Circle on the western side. On the eastern side, you've got Saddleback, which is the first left as you come up. That first intersection you hit after the gate, you come up to that intersection. Saddleback is on your left. and that connects over to Hill and Plain. There was a cut through I was mentioned earlier. Then we have these small circles that I tried to think of them as, we get Sorrel Circle and Paddock Circle on the eastern side. They have to do with horses, and then a Wellwood Circle and Green Tree Circle as you go in there. I'm going to hit on this, the hyperlink I have here in a little bit, but I want to just touch base on before and talking briefly the square footage of the buildings, right? 2,500 to 10,000 square foot. Fully involved structure is going to require 1,000 to 1,800 gallons per minute to put it out. Our pumps right now are 1250 pumps. So you can do the math and figure it out yourself. Formula I use, pretty common, length times width divided by 100 equals the gallons per minute. A regular cape, a 2636 cape, is going to require, if it's fully involved, 620. Now that's 2.5s and 1 3/4 running at about half of our pump capacity. So you do the math. There's it's almost 3 times a regular cape in one of those 10,000 square foot houses. The response district is Station 3's rescue. I'm sure everybody's got that. The still district is Station 4 and 3. First alarm is 23 and 24, 21 and 26. Now, I did some of the distance on the Google map, and to the backside of Cairn Ridge Road, almost some of the furthest points by Highwood Lane, is 3.1 miles. And that would equate to about 8 minutes. Figuring you got to stop at the gate, you got travel time in there. You also remember the other thing is once you enter into Ballymeade from 151, up until you hit that first gate and almost up until you hit the houses in there, you're traveling a half mile before you get in there. And then to get to this Cairn Ridge is actually almost another half mile. So that Falmouth Woods Road is almost a mile long. So it's going to take a little bit of time to travel. Station 4 is 6 miles, and roughly looking at about 13 minutes. Station 1, you're talking almost 10 miles. By the time you come up the highway 151 and down, it's about 15 minutes. So once again, this is one of those places that we're talking about. North Falmouth being way out there in the outer boundaries of town. You get in there, and you're going to be first due. Your next piece is going to be 5 minutes away, and your piece beyond that is going to be, probably not arriving until you've been there 10 minutes. So you have to take some initial actions. You have to set yourself up correctly, and you have to pay attention to where everybody is and what's going on. So, and plus, if you're off duty and you arrive there, it's also incumbent on you to let everybody know what's going on, and also to help out and realize that this is what's going on. Some of the hazards, well, they are all, with the exception of the duplexes. There's the duplexes up there, Fairway Point. The rest of them are wood frame, single-family homes. The hazards, I picked them out kind of in some priority issue here. The big issue we're going to have is water pressure. We do have enough supply. They did boost some of the water pressure up there in the hydrants with a new water main from Tech Park. It helped out a little bit. It didn't help out a tremendous amount. They still have some pressure issues up there, still have a lot of water, but a pressure issue. So And as you can, many of you recall, and you know by going out to the, once we talked before about topography, they don't call it Summit Lane for nothing. And they don't call it Highwood Lane for nothing. There's some places up there that have got some wonderful views. They get those views from being up high. And sometimes the hydrant is down at the street, and the house is another 30, 40, 50 feet in elevation up. So for your pump operations, you got to remember, that's like 50 feet up from the road if you're pumping down below and you're up, right? You have to add 0.434, right? Or a half a pound for each story of a building. Well, look at it as a 5-story building. You're going to have to increase 50 pounds. Plus, if you park the engine out at the street and now you got to run your water thief up, or whatever else, there's some access problems there. Large square footage, I mentioned before. Access issues. What I'm talking about there is some of these driveways are just small enough to get a car into as they're getting up to their nice little view. The other part is some of the houses actually have a good drop-off in the rear of the building. Some of them have decks around the back that are going to make it easy for us in some ways to gain access, but difficult for us in another, because we're going to have to get up some of the stairs to the decks to bring our ladders up and our tools and our hoses and all that. So much bigger. Building heights. These buildings are 3 stories. There aren't too many buildings in there. There's at least half of the buildings in there are stretching up to the 3-story height. You've also got a lot of 3-car garages in there. That means 3 cars. That means that much more gasoline. That means that much more fuel load. And then above the garage, they probably have some sort of living area up above that. So it's a great fuel load. Wood shingles on the exterior sidewalls, wood shingles on a lot of the roofs. We saw that in one of the recent fires that was out there in the past year or two. It went pretty quickly for some of you that were out there. I didn't go, but for some of you that were out there, it really took off. So we got to get on top of that stuff. Building construction. These buildings are built very well. They've got some large lumber involved, and they are well constructed. The only problem is they got a lot of void spaces because everybody wants the little, they have to be built with these L's and these setbacks and all these little nichey little building designs. So there's a lot of void spaces, a lot of use of the wooden I-beams. There was some use for a while in the steel studs, wall studs, and as I mentioned in the building instructions, that the rooms inside of these buildings are large. They have the great rooms as you go in, large volume of space. And the reason I mention that is you may walk in a smoke-filled building there and not feel any heat, because the ceiling might be a 15-foot high ceiling, and you're down crawling around the ground, or you're walking around. So you got to be careful. That upper atmosphere can be very, very hot, and you aren't going to notice it. So we got to keep track of that. All right, I want to quickly go to this little hyperlink. You probably can spend a little time on your own. I don't want to take too much time to it here, but this is all information that was out on the internet. I was able to find, and this is a house on Highwood Circle called Vineyard Heights, and it actually will give you the floor plans of the buildings. Here we got the basement, the first floor, and they actually give you the floor plan of this building that they want to sell, which is a 10,000 square foot building. And this is the basement. And as you see that in the center here is a staircase. Circular staircase runs from the basement all the way up to the 3rd floor. There's a bar, there's a media room, there's a bathroom, all optional if you want to spend all the money to buy the thing. Here's the 1st floor plans with some very substantial size rooms in there. This is all stuff that was readily available right on the internet. And the garage above here has a living area, so keep that into consideration. I want to go to the, let's see if this is the one that I had here. Okay. Okay. Here's one thing I wanted. This is right on the internet from them. This is on Highwood Lane, which is in the very, very back part of Ballymeade. 2 beautiful homes. I've been up there, I've driven around, I've looked at them. I mean, they will rival any of these large homes that are in Woods Hole and right on the water down the Quisset. Those beautiful houses down there. Well, these ones here are the big ones up in Ballymeade. But the things I wanted to point out is that this information is 102 Highwood Lane. Should be able to zoom in here a little bit. Here we go. $10,000 square foot. Okay, and that's not including the lower level game room. So 4,300 square foot first floor, 3,100 square foot second floor, 1,300 square foot, 1,200 square foot third floor carriage house, over a 3-car garage, mahogany deck, pool, 40 by 20 pool. The other thing I wanted to point out is the utilities, which is what we're concerned with. Gas, no big deal, probably a pretty large meter. The other thing, 400 amp underground to the house. So not 200 amp, which I'm familiar with, but 400 amp service. So that's pretty significant. The structure itself, I just want to spend a little bit of time here. 3-car garage. Right here's the other thing I picked up. 4-person elevator. 4-person elevator from the basement to the 3rd floor. Headquarters' elevator is probably about 4-person. So pretty crazy stuff. And let's see, a great room with a wall of glass and a vaulted ceiling from ceiling to frame for spectacular vistas. That's great, but what about the firefighting, right? It's running down here. Red cedar shingle roof. Okay. So, talk about fire load that we got on this building here. All right, nice place with the driveway. Probably fit the engine, the ladder, and probably all our trucks right up there. But once again, you can see from this lot here, you have a little driveway coming up. If 23 parks down there, you're going to have to get up to all this hose up here. If we want to leave it open for the ladder, that's fine. But still, this whole back part of this building, you're going to have to access with a ladder. And if you look at this building up here, and you look at some of the other drawings there, you're going to be using all of that 35-foot ladder. If you don't get the ladder truck up here, you're going to be using all of the 35-foot ladder to vent this roof. And vent this roof you will need to do, because we're going to have to get that get that bad gases out of there. So that's just the interior. You can just go on. You can pick this up, right on the internet. Here's the other one of the neighboring building, a 9,000 square foot house. Same thing, 400 amp service, 3-floor elevator. I mean, almost the same thing, side by side. So, and there's, they go down the bottom. They talk about the country club. Nice country club, 35,000 square foot country club. Of course, it's sprinkled, which is good. But these houses up here aren't. All right, enough dwelling on that. I want to go quickly see if this map will come up here. Just takes a while to load. All right, that's pretty basic. Everybody knows the layout. Don't have to tell you that there's hydrants throughout the whole place. 500 feet. The houses are far enough apart that I don't think we're going to have fire commuting from one building to another unless we're in one of these duplexes. And we have topography to deal with, all over the place. So. This area in the center is Summit Lane, and it is on top of a hill, quite a good-sized hill, and I know a lot of these places are as well. So we'll get out of that. Doesn't seem to want to load that well. So I'm going to go to some of the pictures here and see if I can bring some of those up without having my computer crash here. I'm filling up too much memory here. All right. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Oh, no. My computer is slowing down here. That wasn't what I wanted to do here. Pictures. Okay. All right, well, we'll run with it here. All right. This is the back gate to Ballymeade. I guess we're just going to have to do it like this. All right. Oh, come on. Load up here. Now, maybe I don't need it to load up. Okay. As everybody knows, that's the back gate to Ballymeade. There's the keypad over there. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Let's go to picture number 2 here. This is the pump house right outside that Hill and Plain Road, and it is a radio box, and it houses the pumps for the development. I don't know if they still use them or not. When it was a private development, they used them, or whether it's just a booster pump system. The town has taken over the water system out there, but unfortunately we inherited the system that's out there. And this is the other gate at Falmouth Woods Road. I'm sure you've all been out there to see that. Mentioned this here is the new golf club at Cape Cod. This is their clubhouse. If you drive down that road on the left, you will see this. It was a massive clubhouse, 3 stories. It's 25,000 square foot. It is sprinkled, but it's pretty impressive in itself. This is the Ballymeade Country Club, 35,000 square feet, 3-story. It is sprinkled as well. And the back here we have the indoor tennis. All right. Now just hit on this here. This is one of the duplex buildings on Fairway Point. As you can see, 3 stories. Pretty significant building in itself, but actually one of the smaller buildings within Ballymeade. But wood frame building, duplex, two-family. I'm sure there's some sort of firewall separation between the two. Here's one of the smaller houses within Ballymeade, probably about 2,500 square feet. Pretty nice in itself, but also I wanted to point out that there is a setback. We park the engine out at the front. If we want to bring the ladder in, this is probably going to eat up a good 100-foot setback. So if you pull that 150-foot crossley, you're going to run out of hose real quick. So you do that. Now, this is the big baby I was talking about earlier. This is the 10,000 square foot place. Got some pretty views right around the circle at Highwood. There is a hydrant right in the middle here. This little circle here. But there's our three-car garage. There's our above. There's our 3 stories. Pretty impressive place. There's that central staircase. It's open up to the top. So that's something else. Okay, I think that's all the no. Okay, good. Let's see, where do I want to go next here? Let's see what this is going to bring up here. Okay, this is just the map, just showing that we are in the North and West Falmouth Still District, and basically we zoom in, we'll see we'll see hydrants all around. And it'll show all of that. We're going to go through that. So here we go, Falmouth Woods Road, as we come up in the center. First right is Fairway Point, where the duplexes are. Your next right is Carn Ridge. Okay, it runs all the way around. This is where there's a stop sign, a four-way, I believe now it's a four-way stop right in the center. And we go up Saddleback, which connects to Hill and Plain. And we have Wellwood Circle, the first left. Recently had a permit fire go out of control up there, and all in here is the new golf course. So now we'll concentrate, we were talking before, on the western side. We have Equestrian, and then Longshank Circle, and then of course Carn Ridge running all the way down and around, and then Highwood is way on the back side. This is where that 10,000 square foot and 9,000 square foot house is another one over here that's just as significant as well. While we're right here and we're looking at it, just to mention that all of that property from here down is, there we go, let this fill in here a second. All right, all that property below Ballymeade is town-owned conservation land. All down in here is it's all conservation land now. Okay, so then we're at the top of the development here, and here is Carn Ridge connects to Falmouth Woods Road, and we have Sorrel Circle is way deep in the development, way off in the end, and Saddleback, Hill and Plain, and I forgot to mention there's Martingale Circle, and top of my head, where's the other ones? Oh, there we go. Okay, right. Summit Lane's off of Falmouth Woods Road. Highwood's the big one. Martingale Circle is almost right across from Highwood. Fairway Point, we know where that is. And Sorrel is the one way in the back on the east side. and Wellwood is the first one for Saddleback, and so we have Green Tree and Paddock, the other ones. Okay, so that's kind of it in a nutshell. I don't want to go on too much longer. There's a lot to pick up there in Ballymeade. To mention, just to reiterate that, this is the area we talk about. All this stuff is available to you to look, on your own. Take a drive up there, check it out. Here is Summit Circle. You can actually almost see the topography there, just going off to the side. Down over in the corner here is Highwood. You can see how that even, really drops off right off into here. And I mean, there's some wonderful places up there, and it's a nice area. But for our concerns, for firefighting, we have quite a few issues to deal with. We've also been out there a lot with medical calls recently. A lot of the folks out there bought them as retirement homes, and now we're getting older. So that 4-person elevator is going to be nice, but let's hope it holds the stretcher in there. So roads. Oh, the first thing, and then the other thing I wanted to mention, Todd Taylor had brought this up to me about Lockstead. And while we're here, if you just hold on for just a second and give me a second. Here we're talking about Lockstead the last week, and we were talking about the Lockstead development here, and I just want to zoom in and show you something that Todd had pointed out to me that he knew from local knowledge, and that's kind of nice. If some of you folks have some ideas, I certainly want to hear about them. Let's just zoom down real quick. Now, here's the entrance to the Lockstead Road, right? And we talked about this up here being the tennis courts. Right here is a community swimming pool with a changing, like a little bathhouse right next to it. So, as far as the people in Lockstead going there and using it, you could have, we could have medical issues, drownings, right? Different issues that are going to be coming up. People out there in a heart attack and all that, and that's where the pool is. You drive in, you wouldn't see it at all, except you got to go down this little path up to the side and come down in, and there it is. So thank you, Todd, for mentioning that. And anybody else, if you have something that comes up that you don't think I covered, just give me a shout. All right. Well, thank you very much, and let's keep safe out there and hope that we all pick something up from going over Ballymeade. And keep in mind with the Ballymeade, the key to the firefighting there is going to be big lines, big water, real quick. Try to get some sort of knockdown. Don't spare the lines in the water. We got to knock these things down quick if we get in there. North Falmouth's going in there quick. Leave some space open for next arriving apparatus. Set yourself up. Keep accountability intact. Watch your water pressure. Your residual pressure. I believe that the pressure out there was 40 pounds, and when ISO did a test, it was like 40, 45, and it went down to like 30 pounds. When they were flowing, it was like 1,000 gallons a minute they flowed. Plenty of water, but the pressure did get low. So those are the things to wrap up and keep in mind. All right, thank you very much.
Swimming pools, movie stars.